This is Valley News Live at noon.
Well, we woke up to some fog this morning, but it looks like the sun is clearing it up. Let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green. Hey, Lisa.
Good morning. I want to show you how things went this morning on our time lapse. Starting just after 6 o'clock, we started to see that fog rolling in. So let's take a look at that. You could see it really started to fill in and reduced our view to as low as about 1/4 of a mile at times. And then about a little over 2 hours later, 8:30, things were looking just fine, so it cleared out nice and quickly. Some places it took a little bit longer for that fog to move on. Now, lots of blue sky out there as we're looking at our Devil's Lake sky cam, nice and quiet, with temperatures that are into the 60s to some low 70s. It's currently 70 degrees in Grand Forks, Gwinner at 70, so is Jamestown, 68 in Fargo, and 65 in Devil's Lake. We're into the mid-60s over to the east. And a look at your radar and satellite map, still working on clearing a few clouds over to the east, but overall, we've got a nice view of blue sky throughout the valley here as we continue on into the afternoon. So here's a look at our planner for the rest of the day. We'll see temperatures climbing into the low 70s in a lot of spots. And that wind, it's been a little bit brisk this afternoon, or starting to be a bit brisk this afternoon, and we'll continue to see those winds pick up with some sunshine for today. So looking pretty good, just a little breezy. And when I come back, we're going to get into more wind coming our way for Wednesday and the potential for some showers too for the second half of the week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lisa. Well, another hurricane was hit, and it hit the Gulf Coast just 2 weeks after Ida slammed Louisiana. Nicholas made landfall overnight in Texas. The winds were powerful and damaging, but rain may be the biggest concern with this slow-moving storm. Janet Shallow has the latest.
Nicholas slammed ashore as a Category 1 hurricane in Texas overnight, packing powerful winds and dumping significant amounts of rain. More than 12 inches in Galveston, 7 in the Houston area. Across the region, roads were flooded, and at one point, power was out for more than 400,000 customers in southeast Texas.
The concern is wind. It's too windy still for them to go out and fix those down power lines.
Wind gusts top more than 75 miles an hour in some areas, toppling trees and damaging structures like this gas station. People are being advised to stay home.
And that way you'll be safe, and then you'll be helping out our first responders as well.
Forecasters say Nicholas is moving slowly, meaning higher rain totals and the potential for further flooding. The storm is now headed for Louisiana, where thousands are still struggling to recover from Hurricane Ida. The governor has already declared a state of emergency there as storm-weary residents prepare once again. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Kemah, Texas.
The National Weather Service predicts there could also be a possible tornado or two along the upper Texas and Louisiana coast. Well, this is the time of year where fire departments are seeing an increase in carbon monoxide calls. The West Fargo Fire Department already has. Now, on average, 400 people die each year in the U.S. from carbon monoxide poisoning. It's known as the silent killer because you can't see or smell it. At low levels, CO poisoning symptoms include dizziness, headache, and flu-like feelings. High levels show mental confusion, vomiting, and you can also die. It is especially common in the colder months throughout the year. You want to make sure you have your carbon monoxide detectors checked by a trained professional.
The importance of getting your appliances checked that run off of natural gas or maybe even a fireplace with wood stoves is that if it's not properly working, it will produce carbon monoxide at either a low level, which makes you sick, or a high level, which could potentially kill you.
It's important to make sure to have a contractor check your carbon monoxide detector every year and replace the device every 10 years. Well, an elderly woman is dead following a crash near Perham, Minnesota. Lakes Area Radio was reporting it happened this past Friday north of town. The driver of the vehicle is identified as a 65-year-old woman from Idaho. Her passenger was a 95-year-old woman from Moorhead. The 95-year-old woman died in the crash. And the woman was from Idaho, was taken to the hospital. No other information is released. A judge has suspended Minnesota's new stricter standards on police using deadly force. This halts a change in state law passed by the legislature in the wake of George Floyd's death. The new standards raise the bar on officers to justify in specific terms how their actions involving lethal force were necessary. Several law enforcement lobbying groups filed a legal challenge against the bill, hoping to get it tossed out or at least suspended until more officers could be trained. A Ramsey County judge ruled that changes to the law will be put on hold until the lawsuit is complete. A new voting rights bill has been drawn up by a group of 8 Senate Democrats. It comes as part of a compromise in the hopes of getting the Republican support needed to move the bill forward. The Democrats will need to be joined by 10 Republicans in order to move the bill forward, but it's still unclear where those GOP votes will come from. The Freedom to Vote Act bill would set national voting standards, allow for the request of mail-in ballots, and provide at least 15 days of early voting, as well as Election Day voter registration. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is fighting for his political survival in today's gubernatorial recall election, but it's not clear if the results will be apparent when the polls close tonight. The deadline for mail-in ballots is still a week away. Recent polls show Newsom fighting off almost 4 dozen candidates who want to replace him, including front-runner conservative talk show host Larry Elder. Well, Grand Forks firefighters are hitting the street this week for a good cause. It's their annual Fill Up the Boot drive, raising more for their Muscular Dystrophy Association. Today, firefighters are out at the intersection of 4th Avenue South and Belmont Road, as well as University Drive and North 4th Street. You can see the other fundraiser locations on your screen right now and on our website, valleynewslive.com. Well, coming up at noon, prices are higher at the gas station and the grocery store, but experts say some relief could be on the way. And when is the rain planning to come back? Weather up next to plan your day with meteorologist Lisa Green.